I'm so jealous that I didn't write that line.
I know just what you mean. That happens to me all the time. Yes.
Welcome to episode 1 of In Three Poems. Our guest poet is Judith Sornberger, and we'll be reading from and talking about her book, Sorority of Stillness, a gallery of women in art, published in 2025 by Shanti Arts, as well as the anthology, Keystone Poetry, Contemporary Poets on Pennsylvania. That's edited by Marjorie Maddox and Jerry Wemple and published by Penn State University Press also this year. And in upcoming episodes, we're going to hear from both Marjorie and Jerry. In fact, we have well over a dozen poets planned for season 1, including Mitchell Nobis and Grant Klauser over the next 2 weeks. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or Blue Sky for previews of upcoming episodes. You can also visit and follow on in3poems.com. In Three Poems is a conversation not just between two poets, but between the poems themselves. Each week, we'll talk with another poet, read some of their work together, and hear them read a poem by a poet whose work they also admire. While we chat about their latest projects, we'll explore how the poems speak to each other. Some poets you'll recognize, others will be new to you, and some have been widely published, while others have yet to publish their first book. It's the poems themselves that matter the most, and I'm hoping they'll speak to you as well. I'm David J. Bauman, your host, and this is episode 1 of In Three Poems with our guest, Judith Sornberger. Welcome to the podcast, Judith, and I'm just thrilled that you're here. I can hardly wait.
So am I.
Good. I can hardly wait to dig in to some of these poems with you. You've written 5 full-length books of poetry, 6 chapbooks, and a memoir in prose.
Yes.
And your recent book is Sorority of Stillness, a gallery of women in art. That was published by Shanti Arts this year, 2025.
Yes.
And we're going to get to hear you read a poem from that new book. And I just got to hear you very recently in September at the Priestley Chapel, historic Priestley Chapel in Northumberland, Pennsylvania. And one of the poems that you read there was Prayer Flags. And I'd be honored if I could read that poem aloud and chat with you a little bit about it before we dig in.
That would delight me.
Okay. And of course, we're going to have a little bit of background. But I think in this modern day, animals are quite welcome in recordings. It's become the norm. So
absolutely.
I hope that doesn't bother anyone.
Me neither.
Prayer Flags was published, by the way, in the Keystone Poetry anthology, Contemporary Poets on Pennsylvania, edited by Marjorie Maddox and Jerry Wemple. And we can talk a little bit about that as well. Prayer Flags. I see now why each line of wash in a backyard makes me want to drop down on my knees, that I'm witnessing the prayer of T-shirts, blue jeans, sheets, and underwear. The prayer flapping below terracotta rooftops in Siena, repeated in the same tongue right here in Tioga County, Pennsylvania. Don't tell me those women don't know they are praying. Have you ever watched a busy woman hanging out the Holy Ghost of her family? Seen her stand there afterwards, her empty basket resting like a child on her cocked hip, as she adored the spirit of the wind tossing them into the deep blue mind of heaven? Even a grieving woman feels her feet lift from the earth when the breeze kicks up the ankles of her drying khakis, feels her shoulders sprouting wings as her blouse takes flight. I don't know if she's grateful as she clips each garment to her line, or if each one bodies forth a precious worry. Maybe her clothesline is one long wail. But watch her hours later, when she goes to bring her wash in, leaning into the warm scent of the sun, woven with birdsong, closing her eyes for just a second as she guesses, this must be how God smells, pulling each piece into an embrace of folding, settling in her basket, and giving the whole stack a final pat. Oh my God, Judith. I was just so in love with this. I was reading this multiple times. You have so many masterful, memorable lines. For instance, that the same repeated tongue here in Pennsylvania as other places. I think this will come out in a poem that you'll read a little bit later. In that instance, it might be art is a universal language, but here it's laundry becomes a universal language for the flapping of sheets.
Yeah.
What made you think of laundry as prayer flags? Where did that come from?
Well, I was watching a PBS documentary about the Tibetan monks who
Mm.
were refugees from their home in
Mm-hmm.
Tibet. And it showed the place where they had set up camp. And there were all these prayer flags around their camp, around their settlement. And I was so moved by that. And then really just the next week or so, I was driving someplace and I saw, somebody's wash hung up on a line. And I thought, oh my God, it's the same thing.
What a great
These are
connection.
prayers. Yeah.
But now it's t-shirts and underwear and sheets.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's such a beautiful idea that the spiritual being tied into the everyday.
Yes.
I I honestly am not the praying man that I once was, but I don't think that means there isn't a spiritual aspect in
Absolutely not.
and finding and sometimes I do, I think, turn to some of the old habits of prayer. It's funny because then I'll talk to myself and say, well, I don't know who you're talking to because you really aren't a believer in this anymore. And then I kind of, argue with myself back and say, well, yeah, but this is the habit that I'm used to, and it calms me
Yeah.
down.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
it grounds you into something real. I think just
Yes.
maybe the same way that the laundry does, or I think the
Yes.
laundry also in this case seems to be helping the, I guess not speaker, but the observed person not just be grounded, but sort of this take flight, this growing wings out of the back.
Yeah. Yeah. Take flight. Yes.
And even a busy woman, in this line, hanging out the holy ghosts of her family. Wow. You do so much in just a few words there, Judith.
Oh.
Now, you've taught in many places, including the Women's Study program at the University of Colorado Boulder, and you actually created the Women's Study program at the Mansfield University of Pennsylvania campus, where you also teach creative writing and are currently professor emerita. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes. So when I think of that image, a grieving woman feeling her feet lift off as she sees the ankles of her khakis rise in the breeze. I'm so jealous that I didn't write that line.
I know just what you mean. That happens to me all the time. Yes.
Yeah, so there's maybe a spiritual grounding in the everyday here, but there's
Yes.
also a spiritual escape or a spiritual empowerment, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and we often think of the weight of grief.
Oh,
How that
yes.
this heavy, like a boulder that you're carrying. And
Yes.
here, it's the grief is something that causes someone to sprout wings when they see their blouse going. That's
Yeah.
an amazing thought. So and I love the using body as a verb. How how it bodies forth. How is that line? The
Bodies forth a precious. I
yeah,
don't have it in front of me,
the
but
clips
yeah.
each garment to her line, or if
Yeah.
each one bodies forth
Bodies forth.
a precious worry. So there's a
That's
letting
it.
go, a release going on here
Mm.
of the grief. So maybe it's a way of finding release as well as finding grounding in the
Yes.
poem. And you
Absolutely.
show it so beautifully. Did you know where this poem? See, usually when I write, I don't know where the poem's going
Yep.
when I start. I have an
Yep.
idea, or like you had an image, or maybe a line, but it's like, okay, this wants to do something. Where does it want to go? And I try to follow it. So you didn't? Did you have any idea where this might lead to.
Absolutely not. And that's one of the gifts of poetry, isn't it?
It certainly is.
David? Yes.
Yeah, it is. Now
Yeah.
let's talk about the Keystone Poetry Anthology for just a second.
Sure.
By the time people hear this, I will have already interviewed Jerry Wemple, who is one of the two editors, and I'll be talking to our friend Marjorie Maddox
Yes.
in the future. And you're going
Yes.
to be reading one of her poems in just a little bit, too, from that
Absolutely. Yeah.
anthology. It's been a neat thing to be a part of. I guess this is the 25th anniversary edition, isn't it?
Yes.
The effort for them
Yes.
to go around and get poets from every single quadrant, not just corner.
It's just
uh,
an amazing it's just an amazing feat. Yes.
yeah, and being able to be a part of at least one of the readings
Oh,
was
yeah.
quite amazing as well. Some wonderful poets, Ross Gay, you.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. But yeah, poems about Pittsburgh as well as poems about here in the farmlands and Ridge and Valley region
Yeah.
where I live, and you up there in the highlands of Pennsylvania, up
Yeah,
there in
the
the
Highlands, yes.
plateau region. I think you in your bio saying that living on the side of a mountain
Yes.
near
It's
Wellsboro.
a great privilege.
It yeah, and we talked about birds. Um,
Yeah.
you read a beautiful poem about a hawk. I want people to look up some of your poetry before we read the next piece. Do you want to tell people real quick where they can to look to find your newest book?
Oh, Sorority of Stillness is from Shanti Arts, and you can find it actually on the Shanti Arts website
Okay.
and also on the Evil Empire. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
and
it was
it's
fun.
yeah, and we have to do it is helpful to do those reviews. I'm not so
Yes.
sure how helpful the Goodreads reviews are anymore, but I still like them.
I know, me too.
But yeah, I get those Amazon reviews supposedly do help with sales, and
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I guess we shouldn't say too much. We don't want anybody's legal team after us.
absolutely not.
But the Hawk poem came from a different book. What was the title of that book?
I Call to You from Time.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful
It's
poems,
from
all of them.
Stock. Yes.
Now this one is from the new book. And do you want to say anything about this whole collection? And I always say the word wrong, so I hope I say it right this time. Ekphrastic poetry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was never sure.
Bravo!
But then you hear ekphrasis. So I suppose
Yeah.
it depends on how you're using the word, how you
Yeah.
pronounce it. But I'm glad to see that that's kind of grown in maybe not popularity, but just a lot more people have experimented with it. And that's part of what this project is, seeing how different arts communicate, in this case mostly poetry, how one poem
Yeah.
speaks to another, or different
Yes.
poets influence each other. And so this is based on a weaving, based on a painting of a weaving or a mural from
Yeah. Sorority of Stillness. And
and
it's
we'll put links to
as
that too.
okay, thank you. And as David said, it is from a mural by Diego Rivera. So I want to believe nothing is lost. Not a leaf or syllable, not a snip of thread or needle, that the cobalt blue cabinet holds everything that's past beyond our vision, that the kneeling woman before it weaves the white hair of the dead, sinews of April skies, ebony of falling feathers, and red streamers of sunsets into a fresh pattern, ancient as the mind of God. I want to see the lapis waves of her skirt as the sea we all began in, to believe the braid down her back holds codes for streams and paths, languages and equations, that the fabric rolled in her lap is the map of a new beginning.
once again, for those who maybe just joined while you were listening, the name of the book is, or while you were reading, the name of the book is?
It's Sorority of Stillness, a gallery of women in art.
And this mural by Diego Ramirez. What? I did some looking into this, and he did a lot of, I guess, almost cubist, as he was actually highly caught up in that before he started doing this more sort of figurative art back home in Mexico. And in this poem, I don't know if you created this mythology yourself or it's something that you dug into, but I love it because it's such a real image, and it's actually a real weaver with that, was it a backstrap loom?
Yes, a backstrap loom. Absolutely. Yes.
Luz Jimenez is the name of the woman in the
Yes.
image. And you create this almost mythology of origin that is just amazing. What made you think of this?
Well, oh boy. Yeah, when I saw the mural, I was so. First of all, I need to say that my first love was Frida Kahlo, his wife.
Okay, yes.
And I've
Thanks
written
for
some
pointing that
poems,
out.
about her poems as well. But when I saw this painting, I know that both he and Frida Kahlo were very caught up in embracing the culture of
Mm-hmm.
the native people
Yes.
of Mexico. And when I saw this, I felt like this mural. I felt not only like it was a tribute to the native people of the land, but also a very spiritual embrace
Mm.
of creativity
Yeah.
and spirituality in general,
Yeah, and you've got
one
the
that we all can
no, go
belong
ahead.
to.
Yeah, it definitely speaks. It speaks across distances and it speaks across cultures, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
That's how I felt about it. Yes.
Yeah. And the way that the white hair of the dead is married in that image to the sinews of April skies. And when you say sinews of April skies, I'm thinking of being up there on the lookout at this time of the year when I'm watching for hawks flying south. I knew those long,
Yeah.
sinewy white clouds.
Yeah.
But you've got this tying of the white hair of the dead to the
Mm.
April skies. So you've got an April being spring, where it's usually symbolic of life, and so you have that weaving of life and death all into the same
Mm.
fabric. That is just gorgeous.
Oh,
And this whole lapis waves of her skirt being the primordial ocean, like where we all came from. It's just a marvelous, beautiful piece. You read it beautifully, but you made me fall in love with the image. But I think this stands on its own without anyone seeing the image. It just kind of makes you long to go look it up now. I
I've
think
got to tell you that means a lot to me because one of the
challenges
what
maybe.
challenges and questions one has about writing ekphrastic poetry is whether the poem can survive
Yeah.
without the image. And of
Hmm.
course, in Sorority of Stillness, many of the poems are accompanied by the images, and yet many of the poems in my and other ekphrastic poets' work are not accompanied by the images.
Yeah.
All we can hope is that our poems body forth the image
Yes.
as well as
I'm going to
going
be using
beyond.
that phrase all year.
There I go again. Yeah.
How it bodies forth. I'm going to use that in a wine tasting somehow at
Oh,
some
there
point,
you
I
go.
think.
There you
Yeah,
go.
but that I also get like an image of the DNA helix in the braids of her hair. Um,
Oh,
I don't know if
yeah.
that's
Ooh, I
intentional.
love that. The
Uh,
DNA helix. Yes.
don't you? Yeah, I think it's funny that
Now I wish that were in the poem.
but no, but you have the image there. It's so funny. I mentioned something one time in a workshop, because someone pointed out something in one of my poems that I didn't know was there, and I said, "Oh, I didn't know that was there." And the workshop leader, Dr. Penelope Austin, who has since passed away years back, she she just turned to me deadpan and said, David, you'll learn to say, oh, I'm glad you noticed that.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That is great.
You have that final pat of the laundry. There's something comforting about that in Prayer Flags. And here you have this, though you've got the mix of the white hairs of the dead and origins and kind of all this kind of primordial epic stuff going on out of a basic day-to-day weaving image of doing, hard artisan work, beautiful work, but
Yes.
also
Yes.
hard work. And you have that little glimmer of hope at the end with a map of a new beginning. Really, really a joy to read. You, in the Keystone Anthology, you wanted to read a poem by one of the editors, Marjorie Maddox, and we thank her for her permission on reading it. What drew you to this poem?
Well,
It's called Throwing Like a Girl.
it's an amazing poem.
It is.
Number one, I mean, just listen to that title, Throwing Like a Girl. We know that is supposed to be a put down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet this poem is a complete reversal of that, right?
Right.
Also, I will say that women of my generation were raised reading narratives primarily by men, in which we were, in order to deeply enter the story, we had to imagine ourselves as the protagonist, who was generally a male. And one of the things that drew me so much to this poem was that, delightfully so, these young boys were doing the opposite.
Yeah.
They were imagining themselves as a girl. And it's just so delightful.
It makes me think of some of the cosplay, if you're familiar with that term, when they have some of these conventions where kids are dressing up as superheroes. And by kids, I actually mean people in their 20s and 30s. And even close to my age.
They're kids to us, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes. Whether they're anime characters or fairy tale characters or superheroes. Yeah. And it's not as uncommon as it used to be to see a boy decide to dress up as, say, Storm from.
Can I tell you how much I love that?
Yeah, I love it because and in a way for me too. It's beautiful when I see representation of male characters that are gay. That it's not just a story where that character has to die. That seemed to be quite the thing for a while. As important as many of the books that I've read and many of the different movies that I've seen with that kind of representation, it's also just cool to see, like you said, someone who they just happen to be a woman or they just happen to be gay, and that's not what the story is all about,
That's right.
And you get to take part in that as the protagonist. And I guess I should stop talking about the poem and let you read it.
Okay, here it goes. This is Throwing Like a Girl by Marjorie Maddox. From Williamsport, Pennsylvania, Monet Davis, pitcher for Philadelphia's Tiny Dragons, who represented the Mid-Atlantic team as the 2014 Little League World Series pitcher, Williamsport, Pennsylvania. That's her epigraph. 70 miles, Monet style. Fastball, curveball, flashing into the future ball. Every which way but losing. Batters up, so we chant, Monet, Monet. Awake, sleeping, warming up for the life worth stealing in this home run of a series we call team. We call You Go, Girl. Braided phenom with an arm that hurls hope way past today's whirl of photo ops and change ups, all the way to a close up of two T-ball boys playing the part, debating, voices escalating. I'm Monet. No, I'm Monet. And a summer of daughters leaning into the pitch that blasts the phrase, throwing like a girl. into the all-star complement that it can be, that it is. When lean machine Monet takes the mound, smiles as wide as a long drive, then delivers the dream we braided girls of baseball, basketball, soccer, business, science, writing still need in whatever and every season.
Fantastic. I love it. And I love that there's this future, that this isn't just, it's not just a moment. What's that a line from Hamilton? It's not a moment, it's a movement.
There you go.
Because it's flashing into the future that hurls hope way past today's world of photo ops and change-ups.
Whoa, yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah,
well done, Marjorie Maddox. And beautiful reading of it as well. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
So what else, what projects are you working on at this point, Judith, that you want to talk about? Or
Well, it's funny because I'm actually working on something very different from anything I've ever done before. I just finished a first draft of a kid's book and a middle grade reader about an American chestnut tree in the Appalachians of northern Pennsylvania, who eventually becomes a wooden doll.
Ooh.
And sounds kind of weird, but I'm 73, and one of the things that I have found myself doing is wanting to write all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
You know, year before last, I wrote a one-act play that was produced here in Mansfield or in Wellsboro, and I've done some in-depth journalistic writing, and I just feel like more and more I want to explore all different kinds of genres.
Yeah. Yeah.
And life is short.
Absolutely.
Writing is eternal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well said. And gosh, that, I guess that would be one of the things that be the great reward that might not be around to see, but to have somebody read our words years from now after
Let's
we're
hope
gone.
that happens. Yes,
and it
right?
still means, and it still means something. Well, thank you, Judith. Now, I forgot to ask you ahead of time, do you have a website that people can look up?
Yes. And it's not quite up to date, but it's it's www.judithsornberger.net.
And that would be the place to go to catch up at least on some of your writing, and I'm sure it'll be updated eventually.
Eventually, yes.
Hopefully we're going to have some really wonderful children's stories in there as well. I
hope so.
Well, thank you so much for being with me today and chatting with me about this.
Fun. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you being here. It's been a joy, and you have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure. Thanks for tuning in. That's a wrap for episode 1. Please listen in next time as we talk with poet and educator Mitchell Nobis as we read from his new book published in 2025 by Match Factory Editions. It's called The Size of the Horizon, or I Explained Everything to the Trees. More episodes with today's poets coming all throughout this winter here on In 3 Poems. You can listen in on your favorite podcast app or at in3poems.com. And as we work to tidy up our audio and technical performance here, you'll soon be able to tune in on the In 3 Poems channel on YouTube, if that's your thing. Thanks again for joining us for a conversation in 3 Poems.